All right. But anyway, we will just move into hour two.
Now it's time for Toker Talk Radio, the voice of the marijuana nation.
What are you people? On dope?
Where you can toke.
I inhaled frequently.
Or you can talk.
I experimented with marijuana and didn't inhale.
Or you can toke and talk.
10 federal criminal penalties for possession of up to 1 ounce of marijuana.
While we talk about toke on Toker Talk Radio.
So, by the way, when it comes to pot, if you're 40 years old, you live in a log cabin in Oregon, you got 12 giant pot plants in your backyard, have a ball.
Live from beautiful Portland, Oregon at Rolla J Studios.
Hey, this is great.
Get the cannabis. Plus your calls live at 971-533-7111.
They're walking on their pants with their cap on backwards, listening to Enema Man and Snoopy Poop Dog.
What's to keep somebody from getting all potted up on weed and then getting behind the wheel? Gateway theory doesn't work. It's a reality.
Holland, is it real? Don't tease me.
We're locking up people that take a couple of puffs of marijuana, and the next thing you know, they got 10 years.
And now, here's your host, the guru of ganja graphics, the sultan of sativa statistics, and the worst nightmare of a reefer-mad prohibitionist. A polite, perspicacious, productive pothead with a propensity for PowerPoint. Radical Russ Belville.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Toker Talk Radio. It's Thursday, July 18th, and it's 4 o'clock here in the Pacific Time Zone. We're so glad you could join us. So glad Ustream could join us.
About damn time.
Ustream had a major server hiccup, I guess. And Liebermater coked out on us at the end for something. I don't know.
Oh, what that was. It was supposed to jump to the outro. It played the first 5 seconds of it, and then it jumped to a break note that was back in the middle of the first hour.
Yeah. I was like, why are we up in all the red boxes there, Brian? What's up with that?
I didn't touch it.
Liebermater is a fickle piece of machinery sometimes.
Silly girl.
All right, hey, great news, folks. If you didn't hear earlier, we signed the papers today on the new Rolla J Studios, which is just 8 blocks away from Rolla Tide Studios. Yay. So it's going to be so awesome as far as getting back and forth, Herb coming over to do the show, and me coming over to visit Herb, and it's just going to be a wonderful, wonderful thing. And I went and looked at the house today, although not inside. We didn't have the keys yet. My roommate, who is in the chat room, if he's back in the chat room, but when he's in the chat room, he's KeyDebt46. That's a roommate, Larry. Learned today, and of course Herb will be fascinated to know this, learned today that he's an Ohio State alum. So our house is going to be the Buckin' Broncos house. As in Ohio State Buckeyes and Boise State Broncos. Isn't that clever? Thank you. Also, we've got the great news about getting the refund from our Effin' Normal tour. The big donation we got for the Effin' Normal tour went back to the original donor, who has pledged to donate it back to 420 Radio and help us buy some new equipment. That will be very, very nice. Also, I turned in my application to be a speaker for the World Hemp Congress in Slovenia.
Slovenia.
Yeah, so I'm going to be doing that via Skype. No, I don't get to fly to Slovenia. That would be cool. But no, I'm going to be doing it via Skype, and it's a presentation on what marijuana legalization for recreational use in Washington and Colorado, what does that mean for industrial hemp, right? And there's a lot on that because, now we got states, even that didn't legalize, like Maine and Oregon, wanting to amend their hemp bills, their hemp laws, to not require the federal permit from the DEA. So, I think it's gone a long way to emboldening the hemp industry and the legislators to back up hemp. Even as we see, Mitch McConnell and Rand Paul out of Kentucky championing hemp. So, that's going to be a great presentation. Can't wait to give that. Also got my confirmation back on Seattle Hemp Fest. I'll be speaking there, I'm sure, 2 or 3 or 4 times. It'll be great. 3 days of Seattle Hemp Fest. That's where I get my cardio every year.
Yeah.
Just walking from stage to stage. We have a huge 20 by 20 booth, basically a 4 booth space booth. It's like booth 501 or something.
We got Boothville going on.
Yeah, and it's us and Handmade Apparel and Oil Slick and others who I'm forgetting, but Adam will send me a list someday and I'll know it. But it's right in Myrtle Edwards Park. There's these two paths, and they kind of wind through the park, paralleling the Puget Sound. And there's a point where they kind of come together, where there's this hill. That's where we're at.
Yeah.
We're on the hill overlooking the convergence of the paths in the middle of Hempfest. So everybody is going to see 420 Radio, and we are going to be booming.
We're going
folks.
to see everybody.
Yeah, I'm bringing up the PA system, the PA speakers.
All right.
Going to get us a generator for power, and we're going to have us a show.
Cool.
So we've got, of course, Larry will be up there with us at the booth. We'll have Brian the Red at the booth. Who else is coming into town? I know I was talking to somebody that was coming in for Hempfest.
Dan may be coming in.
Well, I know Dan too, but drat.
Carrie?
Maybe it was Lindsay.
Lindsay?
I don't know. But anyway, we'll have a great time at Seattle Hempfest. It is August 16th, 17th, and 18th. Big Daddy Fink will be at Hempfest.
Jimmy.
In fact, we're getting a place together, like a rental house kind of thing. So
kind of like we did last year.
Yeah, and we may need more bodies. By the way, that's a good thing I remembered that. We may need more bodies to help pay this thing, because it's like $1,300 for the 4 days we needed, I think. And Timmy's got to get half that, and I got to get half that. So the more people we have to break that up, that would be cool. So if you're interested, let me know. Just get a hold of me through 420radio.org/contact for Seattle Hempfest lodging with a very dab-friendly crew. You'll have a lot of fun. Plus, if you're hanging out with us at the booth, we always get vendor passes and VIP. I get a VIP badge being a speaker and all, and that means you can get backstage, and that means you can meet people. In fact, Larry was saying, "Dude, I really want to meet Rick Steves. I went to Europe like 2 or 3 times using his advice. Can you get me to meet Rick Steves?" I'm like, "Yeah, we can get you to meet Rick Steves, sure."
So get you to meet whoever, man. We're with the media. We got a badge.
We got badges.
Yeah, but we don't need no stinking badges.
We don't need no stinking badges, but we have them anyway. Hey, we got to take a break, and when we come back, I'm looking over at the big board over there in our huge technological complex that you don't see behind the scenes, our massive amount of technological wizardry, and the flux capacitor I see is warming up back there. I think we're getting a report from our 1920s radio reporter, Freddie Farrak, so stay tuned.
It's simply business. It's simply business. It's simply business, you know why they won't let us grow. It's simply business.
We'll be right back after these messages from our 420 friendly sponsors. Support these advertisers because their ad money goes straight to the Russ Belville Show. You're tuned into the Russ Belville Show, the voice of the marijuana nation.
It's simply business. It's simply business. It's simply business, you know why they won't let us grow. It's simply business. It's simply business, you know why they won't let us grow. It's simply business.
The law offices of Omar Figueroa would like to remind you to stand up for your rights. Please do not give up your precious liberties. There's nothing wrong with standing up for our constitutional rights, and in fact, it's the only way to honor the Constitution that recognizes our natural rights. Treat law enforcement with respect and respect the Constitution by standing up for your rights. If you are detained or arrested, stand up for your rights by repeating, "I respectfully invoke all my legal and constitutional rights. I do not consent to any search and seizure. I want to remain silent, and I want to speak to my attorney, Omar Figueroa." Omar Figueroa has more than a decade of experience in federal and California courts and graduated from Yale University, Stanford Law School, and Trial Lawyers College. Please contact the law offices of Omar Figueroa at 415-489-0420 or 707-829-0215 or on the web at www.omarfigueroa.com.
I've got a strange little other side, a temptation I don't try to hide, like a pretty girl saying to it that, that's right.
Yeah, there's some good reggae vibes there. That's Revolution with Other Side. And you can catch more great reggae on Red Eye's Reggae Flashback. And we got a replay coming up right after this show. And if you want to catch up on my older shows, you can check me out on YouTube. Just go to Red Eyes with a Z, all one word, Reggae. And yeah, check it out.
Fine. And we got the replay coming up at 5, right?
Yep, the replay coming up at 5. But the flashback, and I think that we're getting a special report coming in here.
Uh-oh.
Our flux capacitor seems to be lighting up behind me.
Stupid Prohibition Stories. As a public service, the Russ Belville Show reminds you that smoking marijuana does not make one stupid. However, some stupid people do smoke marijuana, and Prohibition is always waiting for another victim. Learn your lesson from today's Stupid Prohibition Stories.
With your Stupid Prohibition Stories, I'm old-timey 1920s radio reporter Freddie Farrakh. Police say man charged with intent to distribute marijuana after vandalizing father's car. From the LedgerInquirer.com. A man faces charges of possession of marijuana with intent to distribute during a Thursday morning recorder's court hearing after he was accused of vandalizing his father's car. Tobias Bulger, age 23, was charged with possession of marijuana with intent to distribute, criminal trespass, and possession of a drug-related object. An officer told the court that police first met Bulger while investigating neighborhood vandalism. Bulger's father reported that someone had keyed his car and caused about $500 worth of damage and had expletives carved into the exterior. When police arrived to question Bulger about his father's car, Bulger invited the officers in. While one officer was questioning Bulger, another found about a half an ounce of marijuana in the kitchen. One bag contained about 5.5 grams of marijuana, while another contained about 7.5 grams that were divided into 7 separate baggies. The marijuana was valued at $130. Police then began to search Bulger's house. They found a digital scale with marijuana residue in the common area. During the course of the investigation, police determined that Bulger was also the person who vandalized his father's car. I'm Freddie Farrakh with your stupid Prohibition Stories!
Dumbass.
Really?
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 Fuck you, Dad.
Dude, you suck.
Police? Oh, yeah, come on in.
Yeah, hey,
I was just
check it out. I got some weed over here.
Yeah, I was just dividing up my weed for sale later. What's the problem?
Do you need any weed? I got some for sale.
Car? Vandalism? I don't know. What?
Oh, my keys have paint on them that are the same color as my dad's car? Well, yeah, I used my dad's car earlier.
Oh, my God.
The pain of it all.
You know, when we do these stories, there's a... I always want to try to find a teachable moment in them.
No, I love that in the intro we say this is a public service announcement because really, there are stupid people who...
I'm struggling to find the
teachable lesson here. Don't be
key
this
your
guy.
Dad's car.
Don't be this guy. No. The main teachable point that we always come to in these cases. When the police come to your door, don't fucking open it.
Don't let them in. You don't have to let them in. I'll come back to that one.
It's a secret.
I gotta stay on.
It's a secret.
You
don't have to let them in.
I gotta stay on the keying for a second.
Quiet. Tell everybody. You don't have to tell them in or let them in. Okay.
When I saw the headline, right, man charged after vandalizing father's car. At first, I'm thinking, this got to be like 18, 19, right?
Mm-hmm.
Got to be just barely.
This guy's like, what, 40?
Barely man, right? 23 years old. And the guy is so pissed at his dad that he's going to key his car. Now, who knows?
Maybe. You don't understand being 23 growing up in a big city.
I guess not.
Okay.
Oh, my God. It's like, maybe it's because how they knew it was him. It was his handwriting, right? Oh, that's your handwriting?
Yeah. No, they were looking through some of his ledgers and saw that he, does the same loop with his L's.
There you go. What I like is that he had 7.5 grams that were in 7 separate baggies. So he was
gram bagging it.
He was gram bagging it.
He was.
Now this is from Columbus, Ohio. Are we that hard up in Columbus, Ohio that we're buying?
Oh, those are dubs.
Those are dubs.
Yeah, that's a 20 sack a gram.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Damn, man.
Yeah, man. Shit, dude, I remember those times. What about, memory loss? Oh, no, I remember those times.
I remember that very well, thank you. And don't care to remember it or to recall it ever again.
Yes, I would rather not, It's like I was complaining earlier, that getting, down to only certain things I can smoke at the moment. And, and Russ says, yeah, Portland problems. And I'm like, no. Cannabis problems, prohibition problems.
That's like, I'm, of course, we're going to Florida, August 6th through the 15th, right?
Yeah. We as in just Russ.
As in me.
I am so illegal that my blood content can't get within 100 yards of the border.
Okay. So, yeah, the Royal Show production right? The we meaning me and the listener, man.
Yeah, you and a laptop, man.
Me and the audience are going to Florida, man.
We're all going.
That's the way that works.
Who's coming with me, man?
That's right, man. So we're going to Florida August 6th through August 15th, and going down there to visit my good friend Gretchen, who's down there in Miami. And so she's talking about, are you going to be okay with weed? We have to try to find some weed down here. It's like, I don't have to have weed. Don't worry, we'll run into people with weed. It'll happen somehow. But I don't like when I get somewhere, it's not so desperate that I got to have weed.
It's not on the list. It's
on the list.
It's not high on the list.
If I don't get it, it's no big deal. Like it's not a withdrawal syndrome, right?
Yeah.
I'd like to have weed.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't,
it's not necessary.
Right. All right, so
can function without it.
And then she goes on to mention that it's like $100 a quarter. I'm like, pound?
No, Russ. No. Quarter ounce. It's $50.08.
$100 for a
$50.08, Russ. That's how it can get to $20 a gram,
or
more. For dirt weed.
This just goes to show, though, that the transformation is complete, because I've been in Oregon now, in Portland, for 10 years, and previously it was in Idaho, where my old line had 2 strains, got some and don't. And so I lived in the world with $300, but even then it was the $300 ounce.
Yeah, well,
it wasn't $100 a quarter. That's a $400 ounce, man.
Well, it stayed with the price of gold for a good term there in the 90s and early 2000s, and then,
Rio's down here saying usually 60 an eighth. Usually.
Yeah, usually.
Yeah. And this is the thing. That's what I'm saying, and I'm not dismissing that. I'm just saying that this is a symbol of my transformation, that I'm now shocked by that price. Yeah. Like, viscerally shocked at, what?
Yeah.
Whereas before, back in Idaho, if someone said, hey, $100 a quarter, I'd be like, oh, yeah,
you're like, yeah, you got some.
That's what weed costs. Yeah, all right.
You got some. It's there.
Yeah, all right.
This is what's happening. So
now, it's like everybody's house I go to has these, just jars, well, this is just the everyday smoking weed.
Or at the very least, a little bit like that,
Yeah, just jars of this laying around, and another jar over there, and when this jar runs out, we'll go to the cabinet and get the other jar.
Yeah, or, you don't like that jar? Here, let's try some of this jar.
Weed, amongst us here in the know in Portland, and I'm not saying it's like this for every pot smoker in Oregon. I'm sure there's plenty of people in Oregon that go through droughts and stuff too. But those of us in this activism movement, those of us who are in the know here, weed's like zucchini. Mm-hmm. When's the last time you ever bought a zucchini? You might have, right? You might have gone to the store and bought a zucchini, but if you know anyone who has a home garden, fuck, it's more zucchini than you can shake a stick at least it was back in the day, with my mom gardening. It was always, here, you want some zucchini? No, man, I got enough zucchini. Right?
Or beans,
Was that what it was?
Yeah, green beans or peas.
And that's the way it can be. That's what's so beautiful about living here, is because you realize, wait a minute, it's just a concept. It's just a mental block as a society that enables this prohibition, because without this mental block, without these laws, weed could be this ubiquitous. Mm-hmm. And the thing is being as ubiquitous as it could be would not necessarily mean that it would be for everyone, right? Yeah. Just because we have jars of weed here in Portland, there's plenty of people living around here who have nothing to do with weed.
Yeah.
But the people who want to have something to do with weed aren't spending a lot of money, aren't shooting each other up, aren't guarding crops with, guns and pit bulls and stuff.
Well, not all of them are.
Well, that's true.
Our circles are a little better than some that I've dealt with. But
we got friends in the rural areas, so that's a whole different situation. What I'm talking about is we don't have gang involvement going on with here. This is good people, good farmers, sharing and caring and giving to one another and taking the money out of weed.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I like about it.
Oh, interesting timing there.
I'm getting a lot of shit in the chat room for this.
Oh yeah. Oh well, we know that's part of why we do the show, just to inform people.
Yeah.
It's so much better when you just stop looking at it the way they want you to see it.
We'll get us all there. We're gonna have this wave of legalization sweep from the West, and we'll get to you guys.
Greener skies are on the horizon.
All right, get your surfboards ready. Be right back.
Talking to that reefer man.
I'm a reefer smoking man.
Wood Pipe Smoke Shop and Speakeasy is your source for cannabis community gear in southern Wisconsin. Owners Brian and Tammy Wood are located in Kendall, just outside of Madison, and they've got everything for the smoking enthusiast, including a full assortment of pipes, water pipes, hookahs, bubblers, one-hitters, and so much more. They're open noon to 8 p.m. Monday through Saturday and can help you with your detoxification therapies as well. Call 608-466-7473 or email woodpipes@yahoo.com for more information. That's 608-466-7473 or email woodpipes@yahoo.com. And as always, go pack go.
Hey guys, Nico Escondido, High Times Magazine, here with another video grow tip of the week. We're here in a little hydroponic garden. It's a very manageable operation. Some of you might be doing something similar at home or thinking of it. And we just wanted to show you a little bit about the feeding system, the irrigation system, if you will, that they've implemented in this grow room. Because it's one of the more popular varieties these days. It's very simple. It's a top feed hydro system. And if you just look right down here in the pot, you'll see right at the top they're using top hatch spray emitters staked into the medium, and they just are fed by spaghetti lines, and they just do a little top feed. They just spray 360 degrees all the way around. It gets even penetration. And this grower, he does it very simply. They just water for about 2 minutes per day. That's all it takes, 2 minutes per day. They got 4,000 watts running in this room, and it's going to yield somewhere around 7 pounds. And they're using a nutrient line called Black Label Nutrients. It's very simple, and it's amazing that they get these yields. If you look, the NPK ratios are very low, and with a feeding regimen of only 2 minutes per day, but you still see the weight, the chunkiness of these buds. This is an OG pheno. It's in week 7. It'll go just past 60 days, I believe, and the yield is epic. So there you go. If you're thinking about doing some hydro, check out some top feed systems. Spray emitters are great. And you want to find a nutrient line that has a minimalistic approach. Something that's not going to clog up your spaghetti lines. It's going to get, just the right amount of nutrients to the plants so that they're happy and healthy. And man, all I can say is I wish they were coming down today. But they're not. See you guys later. Nico out.
Through the water, in the sky.
Yeah, M-Dash. Yeah. You a fool for this one. Like goddamn fool. I think this is what we'll do, man. Like that shit. Hit that shit. Yeah. It's that Bay life, man. That Bay living, man. That Bay story, yeah. 707 Golden Gate. Golden State shit. If I ain't got weed, I know my nigga do. You probably heard I smoke a lot, man, that shit is true. We cannabis cuz it's natural born thinking it. Don't ever leave me a blunt, cause I'ma blaze it. I got a sickness, addicted to the pot. Feeling like a hippie chilling up at Woodstock. I pick a good spot, I make the hood hot. Dog, I don't wanna quit, even if I could stop. Choking on train wreck, blowing on on some granddad. 420 scholarship, I'm a college grad. Stuff it is that. Splitting cigars.
Welcome back. Toker Talk Radio. That's Weed Man. I'm not sure who does that, but it reminds me of something. A little discussion I'm going to have.
I heard Amadeus with his name in there, but very Sardis.
All right. So, but he does remind me of something I wanted to bring up. And before I get started, for those of you who are easily offended or shocked by direct language, maybe you just pause the podcast at this point, or you walk away for the next 3 minutes or so. But of course, I've been following the Trayvon Martin case, and I'm not going to go into the Trayvon thing so much. But there was the witness, Gentile, right? The girl who was on the phone with him when he was being pursued. And apparently she did an interview with CNN, and she was asked about racism and Martin and all that. And somewhere along the line, she goes and says that nigga, N-I-G-G-A, is different than nigger, that the former wasn't necessarily racist and the latter was. And then Rush Limbaugh, of all people, responded to this by going on his show saying, well, now I can say nigga because it's not racist, and going on and on and on and on and on about that, right? And I just wanted to say thank you, Gentile, because letting Rush Limbaugh think that he can go and just say nigga on the air, first of all, it's funny when he says it, and second of all, I think it makes his show more accurate. I think it gives us a better peek into his head when he's allowed to say the words that he really thinks on a daily basis. And to conclude this, if you were shocked by me saying nigga or nigger, it's your own damn fault, because I'm not 6 years old. I'm not going to say N-word. And if you know me or have listened to me for any length of time, you know I'm as least racist as a white guy from Idaho can possibly be. Yeah. So there you go. Judge me if you will. But yeah, I'm with Louis C.K. on that thing. I think saying N-word is actually worse because it automatically evokes what you were thinking of in the first place.
It infers that you are meaning the bad terminology,
right,
not
rather than
just the familial.
And rather than quoting someone, right? I think my use of those words, I was quoting people and talking about the use of that word, and I think we freak out too much about that. And I think that's used as a distraction sometimes to get us away from the real discussion about our justice system and how, black men are guilty until proven innocent and menacing and thugs, and how a lot of that ties into the drug war. How the drug war is this mechanism that allows us to continue portraying young black men as these scary thugs because we arrest so many of them through stop and frisk and for catching them with a little bit of weed. And we put them into a system that now they can't, it's hard enough getting a job as it was. Not there's a lot of jobs for young black males in the city necessarily, but now they got that black mark on their record, pardon the pun, of being a drug criminal. And so then what's the only job left to pay the bills? It's going back and dealing weed. And the cycle continues. And we have households that, are losing the men in the households, and the women are raising the kids by themselves, and it perpetuates a cycle of poverty and dependence on welfare and street crime and all these terrible things that I'm not saying that ending the drug war is going to end racism by any means, any more than the Emancipation Proclamation did, any more than the Civil Rights Act of 1964 did. But man, it would certainly shut down that engine that perpetuates it. And maybe we could start to heal a little better. That's there. I had to just say that. I've been all right. So let me get.
I actually agree. Speaking
of African, in a tangent, in a sense. Lousy segue. There was a story. There's a story from the New York Daily News that I wanted to bring up because I thought it was funny. South African cops get high off pot muffins on the job.
Oh.
All right. Let's check this out. 9 South African. Very good. 9 South African police officers accidentally got stoned off pot muffins while celebrating a colleague's birthday, local media report. This is New York Daily News. They were all high as kites, a source told the Daily News of South Africa. One of the members just sat in a corner and was laughing for no reason. Like Brian. The officers were eating the space muffins and acting paranoid during the night shift at the Montclair police station earlier this month. They were reportedly unaware that the muffins were laced with cannabis. A constable brought a bucket of KFC and the home KFC in South Africa. All right, I'm with you. Bought a bucket of KFC and the homemade muffins the night of July 4th. If the muffins contain narcotics, it is unclear who added that ingredient to the mixture. But others at the police station called the cannabis-laced muffins an open secret among the force. How can they say it was food poisoning when the members were laughing their heads off for no reason? An insider source said. Everyone who works at Montclair knows when on that night. All right.
That is hilarious.
So to our listeners in Montclair, South Africa, and I'm sure there's dozens, bravo! You got the highest police force in the world. Well, maybe not, but at least the one we know about. Funny story there. And this is something with the whole edibles thing that we got to think about, you know. There was a story out, and I didn't cover it in the news today, and I thought I might, but it didn't have anything new news to it. But it was like how drug testing now doesn't mean trying to find out whether someone's on marijuana. It's trying to find out what's in the marijuana, as far as potency, purity, and all that. We'll talk about that. We've also got, I can't believe this, the flux capacitor is acting up again. Well, maybe this might take a little longer to tune in, but when we come back, we'll talk more about packaging in the marijuana industry and labeling, all that kind of stuff.
Did Washington wise up and, you know, let them use that pot leaf symbol yet?
No, pot leaf logo is still out. They haven't come out with a new one yet.
These guys, come on.
The Russ Belville Show is blogging and podcasting daily at radicalruss.com. NORMAL stands for Responsible Adult Cannabis Use. If cannabis use is causing problems in your life, consider taking a break or seeking medical assistance. Consider ceasing cannabis use if you have a family history of mental illness. Don't drive or operate heavy machinery while impaired by cannabis use. Cannabis use is not without risks, even though the risks may be far less than those posed by legal drugs.
What's happening, cool cats? This is Big Daddy, and I want you to cruise on over to the Funky Roller Rink. We'll be grooving all night long.
I like it.
Doors open at 11 Eastern, 8 Pacific, every Thursday night.
Funky-licious.
Down to the mountain, I was drinking some wine. Look up into heaven, lost saw on my side. Raging fire across the hill. Plain as black and white, get prepared. It's gonna be a party tonight.
Yeah.
It's Saturday night.
Some good old blues. It's Keller Williams for Grateful Grass. One more Saturday night. And
that's what
Herb, man. Herb is all indulged in that. The Northwest String Summit up at Horning's Hideout here in Oregon. Going to be happening this weekend. It's going to be a lot of great fun. He's going to get a lot of good exposure.
And he won't be contacting us because, as I understand, there's no cell reception.
Nope.
There's no internet.
Nope.
It's a hideout, people.
Yep.
You are definitely
little valley and the convergence of the mountain there.
Yeah, so he goes there every year, the Northwest String Summit, a lot of great artists up there, and Herb just rocks out, because, you know, he likes people that play fast.
Oh, yeah, you know, rock, you know, this is the kind of stuff you'll catch on Herb Thrasher's Flower Hour. It's not just about metal.
And speaking of that, this Friday night, I'm helming the Herb Thrasher Flower Hour for a special Hellbilly edition.
Woo! So you can get a lot of this.
Grandpa's Cough Medicine. I'm going to play some Clyde and Clem's Whiskey Business, Hank Williams 3, Jake Orvis, Johnson Creek Stranglers, all sorts of great
that's some
stuff.
local. All right. Well, I think that the flux capacitor is lighting up again. Man, Ustream was giving us all sorts of hell
That
earlier,
must have been.
and
There
then
must be. I bet there's a
time
dissonance between the two. Maybe Ustream. There's a wave interference, man, between the flux capacitor and the streaming encoder, man.
Man, I don't know, but something's up.
Stupid Prohibition Stories. As a public service, the Russ Belville Show reminds you that smoking marijuana does not make one stupid. However, some stupid people do smoke marijuana, and Prohibition is always waiting for another victim. Learn your lesson from today's Stupid Prohibition Stories.
With your Stupid Prohibition Stories, I'm old-timey 1920s radio reporter Freddie Farrock. Marijuana pipe found in 4-year-old's kids' meal. From U.S. News and World Report. Talk about a happy meal. A Michigan family was surprised to find a marijuana pipe, rather than the traditional toy, inside their 4-year-old's Burger King kids' meal. The family was in Dundee, Michigan, visiting a water park when the boy's grandfather stopped by a local Burger King to pick up food for the youngster, according to NBC affiliate NBC 25. The family discovered the pipe before the boy got to it and contacted police immediately. Police report that a 23-year-old employee put the pipe in the box in order to hide it while he worked. He had no intention of giving it away. The employee has been charged with possession of drugs and drug paraphernalia. I'm Freddie Farrock with your Stupid Prohibition Stories!
Okay.
I got my pipe in the box. Oh, sorry.
1.
Put your pipe in the box. 2. Put a burger in the box.
Oh my God.
Frick.
Kids.
On a stick.
I want to show you something.
Yeah, look.
These are called rolling papers. Now, I'm a fan of the Big Bamboo rolling papers. See, the Big Bamboo, you get yourself a leaf here that's a double-sized paper, and therefore you can make yourself a decent-sized joint.
I personally like the Elements, the rice papers.
Oh, the
which,
Elements are
the
good.
super thin Elements, king size.
Oh, my papers got all wet and they're all stuck together.
Oh, look, you're making a fold-out character.
Well, so much for that. No, I
that's
got
what you
soaked.
get when you travel. Yeah,
I got soaked.
The
doing
deluge in
right?
Denver.
So I'm gonna have to go buy some more Big Bamboos.
Deluge in Denver. But
damn. Hey, we got a call coming in. Let's go to our phone lines.
It looks like we got Bacon Dan on the line.
Is that you?
Hello.
Hey.
There's Bacon Dan.
What's up?
No, I'm like, I would say that is truly a happy meal right there. My gosh.
You know, it's like
thoroughly enjoyable.
Look, I can understand someone working at the Burger King needing to smoke a little to have the dignity to be able to put on the paper hat and all. I dig that.
They don't make you wear the paper hat anymore.
Oh, okay. And that's some comedian's line, by the way.
Yeah, I know. It's
stealing that.
I've used it before too.
But it's a good line.
It's a great line. Damn paper hat.
I can understand that, you know, having to smoke some weed at work. But dude, there's so many better. First of all,
there's a better hiding place than a freaking something that's going to be
handy. How about your pocket, man?
No, because it stunk.
Whatever.
Yeah.
All right, what's up, Dan?
Oh, not much. I just want to say, we're talking before about, you know, with people, the jars of marijuana. I know myself, it's a bit of a culture shock for me being out here and just seeing, you know, there were back east when I lived out there, there were times when, you know, you go 3 or 4 months without even seeing any. And the availability here, I mean, I really do hope more people either, you know, get to come to Oregon to experience it, or in their home state eventually. You know, I especially back east, there's so many people I know who are more than deserving to have the availability that we have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it makes me sad sometimes that, you know, that people I know who've gotten to see how, you know, I've gotten better myself being out here, they're almost jealous at times, and I wish I could just, you know, I wish I could give them, you know, a 1/8, no pun intended, or maybe pun intended, of the freedom that we have. here in the Kansas community.
I just wish that the transporter was working properly so we could have Scotty just get him over here for 20, 30 minutes a day, you know, and then they can go back to their lives. I don't know. But
that's why we need a TARDIS. If we could just build a TARDIS, we'd be all set.
A TARDIS, there we go. You know, I had that experience too when I first came out. It was like it was Iva and I were going out to the Oregon Country Fair. And on our way there, or actually went to visit Eugene first or something like that. But while we were down in that area, we went to Goshen, the land of Goshen. Yes, there's a real Goshen, Oregon, right? Where she had a friend who lived there who, medical marijuana patient, right? And he had a nice double-wide trailer place, you know, in a nice park. It wasn't, you know, like meth town or anything. So when we got there, we went to his house, and he had this big picture window, right? That was open. The curtains were open and everything. And then in his house, jars of weed, multiple, like on the mantle, on the coffee table, in a cabinet.
Yep.
Just jars and jars of weed. And I remember the first time I saw that, I was like, oh, it took my breath away. It's amazing.
Yeah, just the freedom.
Yeah. I mean, it just, even last night, perfect example for me, I had a very successful date with a gorgeous, absolutely stunning native Oregonian. And her favorite things in life are local beers, bacon, and marijuana.
Uh-oh. Dan.
Sounds like Bacon Dan might just have a permanent thing there.
It's got to be love,
Oh,
man.
yeah. And she wants to come on to 420 radio because I talked it up so much. And she comes from a family of old hippies who her parents, to this day, still grow. And she's from the Eugene area, and we just talked about her dream someday is to be able to invite people over and just like you talked about, have the jars and say, oh, you don't like this? Let me offer you this. Like, pull out the drawer, and all the jars are labeled and in nice, clear packaging, and be like, name your fancy. What would you like?
Yep. Yep. Just like if you go to a friend's place that's got a well-stocked bar.
Yeah. You know,
exactly.
or they've got a wine cellar.
And that's
oh, there you go. We should have weed cellars here in Portland. That would be the greatest thing ever.
I think that I think the audience agrees with you there.
They like that. And this is something, you know, watching the chat room too, and then we got our friends that are back east and in the south. They're like, yeah, screw you guys. This sucks. We've been dry here. It costs too much money. They still put us in jail and shit. It's like, I know.
Yeah.
I know. That's why I keep traveling and doing these gigs.
And that's why we keep doing this here, because we grew up with that. We stood up and fought to change what it was where we were. And we're hoping that we can just inspire a couple of others to do what we did, you know, and it wasn't just us. It was a group effort. It takes, you know, an entire village to stand up and say, I'm tired of this tyrannical bullshit. You know, let us be ourselves. You know, let us have our plant. You know?
And I think what we do and what our listeners, especially our longtime loyal listeners, do is that they are those beacons and they are those drops of water that just, you know,
the ripple in the pond,
erode the canyon wall day after day, just drip, drip, drip. And, you know, it might not work one day or 1 week or 1 month, but there's some point at which you being an out and proud cannabis activist makes someone else around you go, hey, yeah, and maybe changes their mind a little bit, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and I know you're doing that. And what I like, too, is that we've got this wide range of generations involved in this. That are getting involved. It was a lot of fun to see when I was at the 710 Cup, a bunch of younger people that are really excited about making change and standing up for what they believe in.
It's a great feeling, and it's, you know, momentum's like a train. It's either you can get on board or you can lay down in front, but it's going to still happen. You can't stop change, and it's, you know, the more that people's eyes are open. I mean, I remember back in the day, I used to be so against it, and then I would just took a step back and go, what am I being against? And I informed myself, and, you know, as a very long time listener of the show, you know, someone like you, Russ, helped, you know, open my eyes to just learning, because knowledge is power. And, you know, it's the ignorant people who keep their head in the sand. You know, they're the ones who are going to end up looking like fools at the end, because when everyone else is going, well, no, you're actually full of shit, And, you can sit there and say, oh, it's the devil's, blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? Science proves the air full of shit, and we've got people who are living happier and healthier. And, I so many people back east, whenever they get on my case about it, I just send them a link to Brave Michaela's page. I'm like, okay, you go tell that little girl there that what she's doing is wrong, and her parents are wrong, and that she shouldn't be able to be healthy and happy. You go tell her that, okay. Right. And they never can fight back with anything on it.
So, Dan, you being a long-time listener of the show and coming from one of those states that's not so cannabis-friendly, tell the audience what it was like after you first got your card, and it was 420 here in Portland, and I took you into the Maloma Wellness downtown here for their bazaar.
It was overwhelming at first. I mean, I'm the first to admit it. I walked in there, and I literally stopped in my tracks because I'd never seen something like that. I've been on the show and stuff, and I've become friends with, a bunch of people here in Portland in the cannabis community, but I'd never been somewhere where just people were out and out talking about it, medicating, and informing.
Yeah,
and
the openness
openly in a location where it's, you're not at somebody's house, you're not at, the cannabis cafe, you're at a legit business in one of the most gorgeous cities in the world. And I was, walking around. It was 420. Like, hey, here's a free sample. Enjoy 420. I couldn't get past that. It brought a tear to my eye, and I overdid it a little bit. I'm the first to admit. At one point, I was sitting in a chair, and I was like, Brian, I can't feel my foot. He's like, is it the one your backpack's sitting on? And I was like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm just saying that the difference in, the mindset that you had when you first walked through the door to when that curtain was pulled and you were on the other side, it's gotta be just
I was
something.
Nervous, and then I felt at home, and it's even to today, there's still, when I go into a dispensary, I still, that little twinge of, I can't believe this is actually happening is there because, growing up and spending my entire life on the East Coast before moving out here, the mindset, I sat there and saw the stuff happening in New Jersey with that idiot Chris Christie and, making it so difficult for people in the Garden State. And, I knew people who were suffering around me, and it was terrible. And, you had to be so hush-hush about it. You couldn't really openly talk. I mean,
because once you're out, you're labeled.
What's that?
I said, yeah, because once you're out, you're labeled. Everybody sees. It's like, oh, you're one of those people. It's like, yeah,
absolutely. I mean, even the normal chapter where I lived in Pittsburgh, the guy who was the president of the chapter couldn't go to any marches because he was a lawyer and he couldn't afford to let people know that he was in the community. It was so sad, and for the people who are in the areas and who are listening right now, and down south, East Coast, anywhere. The Midwest, I know it's tough where you are, but trust me, it gets better. And once you're at that place where either if you relocated, like I relocated myself, or if your state just finally wakes up and gets their head out of their bum, it's that feeling of freedom and the freedom to just say, yes, I am a cannabis consumer. I'm proud of it. You won't believe the weight off your shoulders.
Yeah, I like that you brought up that that fact that, even now that you're here and you're going through it, you're inside of these dispensaries, you still have that, I don't believe this is happening. I think that a lot of us here in the cannabis community suffer from a form of post-traumatic stress just because we are veterans of the drug war. And,
absolutely. There's been many times I've been lucky that I, knock on wood, that I've had close calls, but never, there's many times I probably could have, my life could have gone to the shitter because of, the fact that I choose cannabis.
Yeah.
But I've been lucky that it hasn't.
It's good luck. And with some more luck, we'll still be here long time bringing you more Russ Belville Show and Toker Talk Radio. We're going to take a break. Be right back.
We'll be right back after these messages from our 420 friendly sponsors. Support these advertisers because their ad money goes straight to the Russ Belville Show. You're tuned into the Russ Belville Show, the voice of the Marijuana Nation.
I stole from my little sister.
I got straight D's.
I left my ex-girlfriend 27 messages last night.
I made my mother cry.
I let people draw on me.
I ditched my friends and let them find their own way home.
Every single one of those situations in that last PSA had alcohol written all over it, didn't it?
Yeah, especially the one dude passed out with stuff drawn all over his face and shit stuffed up his nose. That is the stereotypical
frat boy
guy
pass out.
Yeah, he just hit the beer bong. That's what he did. Yeah. Not a frickin', good bong.
No doubt. Hey, I wanted to make quick note of the Huffington Post, and specifically Huffington Post Live, that just recently had Brandon Krenzler and Brave Michaela on.
Indeed.
That clip, I think I posted it on my Facebook page, so facebook.com/RadicalRuss. Another item that is up is Taylor Hicks. Now, if that name doesn't ring a bell, then you're probably like most of America. Taylor Hicks was the season 5 winner of American Idol.
Something like that. I don't watch it.
Anyway, there's a piece with him talking about his marijuana adventures with Snoop Dogg. So if you're interested in that, that's available on Huffington Post Marijuana. Also, that piece I went off on yesterday, David Sack, The Stoner Stereotype, Myth, or Reality. It's up to 44 comments. It's getting a lot of play right now. And just a whole lot going on with respect to our upcoming schedule. And I'm going to try to keep shows on all week, this week and next week. Somewhere along the line, we got to tear the studio down and get it set up at the new place. I'd like to do it this weekend, but I don't know if I'll have internet by then. I've got to try to get it, and I don't think I'm going to get it as quickly as I'd like it, but we'll try. So we'll either do shows here from Roll the Tide, or hopefully on Monday, a new show from the new Rolla J Studios.
We shall see.
In the Buck and Bronco house. I love that name.
That's pretty good.
There's a list also on Huffington Post of the best drug scenes in movies, classic drug scenes, the trippiest sequences. And, of course, one of the big pictures up there is Hunter S. Thompson, portrayed by Johnny Depp in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. And that reminds me that that's going to be my Halloween costume this year. Shh, don't tell anyone. Don't make a big deal of it. But, yeah, I'm going to be Hunter Thompson this year.
Okay.
And
you can't take my feather.
I'm not taking your feather.
Okay.
No, I just got to get the glasses, the hat, and the cigarette holder thing, and we'll be good to go. That's my favorite holiday, though, as far as partying and stuff, is Halloween. And this year, and again, I wish a lot of things, and then money tells me what I can do. But I would really like to start hosting a 420 Radio Halloween party.
Oh.
That would be my ultimate. And if this house that I've got is good enough, I mean, we can have a personal one, right? But I'd much rather
I'd like to get a venue.
Get a venue and just make this a big thing.
Yeah.
Get some bands, have some fun. But
Well,
I know the world famous Cannabis Cafe probably has a Halloween party too, right?
They do. And back much, I'm dating myself again. A long time ago, they used to KBOO, the local non-profit community radio station. That's probably the oldest one in the country by now.
Maybe the only one.
Maybe, yeah, sure. Anyway, they used to have a thing called the Boo Ball, and that was held at the train station.
Yeah.
And it was pretty cool. But so yeah, maybe we should find a venue that we can find that's smoke friendly and.
Yeah, I'm sure, and I think we're going to see more and more of that as these venues have to start competing, right, for business, and there's going to be a lot now that we've got legalized marijuana just north of us in Washington State, and we're going to have the legalized dispensaries in March of 2014. That it's going to be more and more pressure to want to do these events, and that's just going to be meaning more of these venues are going to have to be smoke friendly. I know what we've always done here in Oregon is the whole out of public view medical marijuana patients only thing. And when we did that benefit out there for Lori Duckworth, they had a van parked on the street, on the busy street, with one of them 10 by 10 tents off the back of it, just tarped up.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the out of public view. Of course, you're walking down the sidewalk or driving down the street. It smells like freaking weed. There's some weed going on, right? But public smells not against the law. So while that's technically legal, sometimes I worry about,
Yeah, it's
pushing
not all
it.
that safe. I mean,
well, just pushing it with the public relations aspect of it. I wish it had been in the back, like in an alley or something. It would have been cool.
well, that's what I'm saying. Well, that's kind of what I'm saying is, with the respect to them being patients, and slightly vulnerable people. Some of them, it would have been nice if they had a spot that wasn't just right off the street with the bus flying by, and rattling the tent.
Yeah, that was kind of scary, wasn't it?
It was a little off-putting. I'll just say that.
No kidding. And again,
trying to take a dab, all of a sudden, what the fuck was that?
So we got, like I mentioned earlier, August 6th through the 15th, I will be in Miami, Florida, and actually all over Florida. We're gonna go to West Palm.
To Florida.
We're gonna go to West Palm Beach to visit Bobby Platshorn. We're going to go to Miami Beach to visit Steve Burke. We're going to go, I hope we're going to go, maybe and maybe not, because it's a long drive, but we may go up all the way up to Orlando and visit with Kim Russell from People United for Medical Marijuana. And maybe the University of Central Florida normal kids up there, and I can say kids because I'm 20 years older than you are. And so, yeah, we'll be going all over Florida, bringing you all sorts of remote stuff in August. Because Scottsdale in July wasn't hot enough for me. June, I guess it was. I'm going to go to Miami in August.
Yeah, you know why they call it August, right? Because you're like, the black beast of,
We wouldn't have bothered to carve arg.
Well, maybe Don will carving it.
I don't know.
Yeah, we don't.
But I guess this is my new weight loss plan. I'm just going to sweat it off in the humidity or something.
Run in the sun.
But speaking of Florida, there's a great piece up on WFTV. I did a little bit of this on the news, but I didn't get to all of it. The interesting thing about Florida and its initiative system is, number one, it has one. The South and the East don't have initiatives generally. Florida is one of the few states that does. So Kim Russell, who's been with People United for Medical Marijuana, has gathered 70,000 signatures, okay? But they have until February 1st of next year to turn in 683,000 of them. So she's got 70,000, they need 683. Now, 683 valid means you really need about 1.2 million. Maybe 1 million if you're really accurate.
Yeah, because a lot of people, they move within that time period after signing it. Their registration isn't at the same residence. They, disqualifies them. Or, maybe they're in one of those crappy states where you have to have them sign for their specific county, and if somebody signs from a different county on that page, it invalidates the page if they don't catch it.
Right.
Bunch of crap.
So John Morgan, who's the attorney in Orlando, a very high-profile attorney, pledged $3.5 million for the petition drive, but that puts Florida in potentially the same position that Oregon was in with its legalization last year in, you made the ballot, but now you got no money to promote it, got no money for ads, got no money for lobbying, and so on. So, we need more than just John Morgan in here, helping them out in Florida. Let's see. The other detail in this was about the polling that they surveyed Florida voters, and they found 71% were in favor of legalizing medical marijuana and 46% in favor of outright legalization. And, I get the question all the time, I'm in a southern state, I'm in an eastern state, I'm in a midwestern state. There's no way anybody will vote for legalization. It's going to have to be medical. That's the only thing that'll pass. I don't know. I don't think getting it up from 46 to 50 in the next, 4 years, 2 years, is that difficult anymore. I think you're going to see attitudes change faster than you would possibly believe. I think that 46% in favor of legalization in Florida this year could be 50%, could be 51% by next year. I think as legalization continues in Washington and Colorado, and it's no longer, wait a minute, Washington and Florida aren't going up in flames and riots and nothing bad really happened? Well, all right. Well, what are we waiting for? I think that's a distinct possibility, even in the southern states. But I'm a dreamer. You may say that I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. That's all the time we got for today. Thanks for joining us. Brian the Red, I'm Radical Russ. And until next time, take care of each other, Tokers. Stay tuned for the Funky Roller Rink at 8 o'clock. And coming up next, Red Eyes Reggae Flashback.
This is the Russ Belville Show. The Russ Belville Show is blogging and podcasting daily at radicalruss.com.
You take a seed, you plant it, you grow it, you dry it, you roll it, you smoke it. You take a seed, you plant it.